Hello, welcome to the first broadcast of our new series, Treasures of Knowledge. Once a month, we invite experts to talk about an exciting topic from the world of Taijiquan and Qigong. Today, our topic is basic exercises in Taijiquan. Every style has basic exercises. We want to present these exercises in this show, pursue the question, what is actually practiced? Maybe we can identify parallels or common history. Guests today are Martin Neumann as an expert for the young style. He practices the Matsun-Kuen system. A further expert is Nabil Ranné.
Hello.
Nabil Ranné as an expert for the Chen-Style. And Dimitris Tsolakidis as an expert for the Wu-Stil. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, Martin, how many basic exercises are in your system? What do you practice in the basic exercises?
Okay, yeah, thank you for the question. The style I practice is Matsun-Kuen Tai Chi. There are some similarities to Yang style, but it is, let's say, an own school. Huh? You can say in Taijiquan, or we say in Taijiquan, each exercise is more or less a basic exercise. In the sense of always you train basis, foundation. But maybe there's a misunderstanding about the term basic or basis. This doesn't mean actually beginners, but it is it's not only for beginners, but it trains the basement. And this basement or these bases is always the same. We always repeat the same things, but through the years, we refine them further. This is the try we do. At the same time, you can say this basis stands for beginners because the learning process, each learning process, and also in Taijiquan, is not linear. You want to have it linear, but it's not. If it would be linear, maybe it's also boring. So because you have to return again and again, like in a spiral, on the same point, maybe a beginner point. And when you do this in this way, it needs a beginner spirit. And this allows you to step aside from the idea or from rational knowing, the idea I know something, from controlling. And maybe this allows spontaneity in the sense of naturalness. As in China, they call it ziran. You can translate it into self-so. This is what happens maybe if you go away to always return to the same point. An advanced one is a person who can say really honestly about himself, I do not know. So, and maybe this is also the thing what Matsun-Kuen said, behind the horizon, there is another horizon. And the way to reach the next step is always to return on the same point. So you have to go always back to the basics. About the question, how many exercises we have in our style, there are the standing exercises, Mabu, for instance. And then we have the next thing you learn, also at the beginning, is Taijiquan. There are 6 exercises, and I will explain a little bit after about one of them, the second. Then we have the forms. There are also basic exercises, and Taoist breathing. So, and some specialized partner work, some steps in Tuishu, for instance. The Taijiquan are very, in my opinion, in my experience, also very good exercises as basic exercises, because you practice them from beginning on, and you will practice them the whole Tai Chi career. They are easy, but not simple. Easy in the choreography, but not simple in the content. So they allow you from the beginning on to study the Tai Chi principles. And because of the fact that there is no opponent, the absence of the opponent, it is easier to learn the things and then to bring the qualities into later into the stress test, you can say, in the encounter with the opponent. So, concerning to this point, it can be said you lead this experience, for instance, from Tuisho back into the solo exercise. And then in this way of this constant interrelation of solo and partner work, from form and function, there is an interaction between these things. So I will explain the second, or show something about the second exercise. The image of this exercise is that my hands, I show it a little bit, that my hands are fixed on a wheel. So, and the wheel is turning. And it's not me turning the wheel. The wheel is turning me because I allow, in a way of letting go, I allow the wheel to turn me, to move me in one, not in pieces. It's not only the arm that is turned or I push the wheel. I learn step by step to go with an incoming force. And in this case, this incoming force is a pull. I show from this side, something pulls me. Because of the vertical alignment I train, I can release through the structure. And this gives me safety on one side, rooting. On the other side, it gives me the freedom and liberates, for instance, my shoulder girdle. And the pull on the hand pulls my arm out of the back. And in this stretching way, it connects the hand with the back and with the complete structure. So, and when the pull is away, I release. I don't need to pull the arm back. The arm comes back by itself. And then there is an idea. The arm drops following the gravity. And then there's an idea here. I add some intention, maybe locking, to lock someone. And then I release immediately. So in this way, I have on both sides an interaction between yin and yang. And the focus, maybe for me in my practice, the focus on this exercise is the ability to let the yin emerge from yang. This is not because of the yin is more important. It is just generally harder to allow. So on the physical side, my shoulder girdle gets loosened, stretched into a structural connection, back and the rest of the body. And I can move in one. On the mental side, I practice letting go, the central basis of Taijiquan for me. And this enables the transformation and interplay of yin and yang. So I move in this way more and more, I move centered. My mind drops to the center and I move out of the center. When I perceive, for instance, a mistake in free Tuisho, in the free-flowing Tuisho, I bring this mistake or bring this idea into my basic exercise and try to find a way to overcome this, let's say, mistake. And then this new experience I bring back into my partner work Tuisho and so on. So there is an interaction between my basic exercises, the practice of my basic exercise, and the practice of my partner work. So this, a little answer maybe about this question.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, thanks a lot. You find a summary in German and Greek translation. The link is in the chat. Dimitris, what about basic exercises in Wu-Style?
Okay. So I don't know if you can hear me. Okay. Hello, everyone. It's really nice to be here and there at the same time. And so about the basic exercises, really Martin already said a lot about it. In Wu-Stile, the approach is in our system, it's like the form is either it is a hand form or a weapon form or any kind of, or pushing hands. It's like you have a building with many details, built with many details, but the basic exercise actually is like you're going to find smaller building blocks which help you to make this final building. So I should say basic exercises are literally countless. It depends on how many, on how detailed and small and tiny blocks you want to separate your building. It's like every movement, any movement, if you pick one movement, then there are many different elements and qualities inside this movement. So if you pick one quality or one element and practice it separately, then you make a very good basic exercise. In general, we can separate these basic exercises into big categories. One is the static exercises. We call it a zhangzhuang. It's like you're standing for some time in a fixed position, not moving, or in the moving exercises. And the aim of this practice is to improve some elements, as I said before. Which elements are these? Well, it could be postural alignment. You can use some basic exercises to help your posture be more correct and more natural. You can build strength and stability through these exercises, or you can improve your flexibility, and so you can use it in your forms and pushing hands. Your balance, you can improve the coordination. As in Taijiquan, the whole body has to move as one single whole. So we can improve the coordination of the parts of the body, how to move together and support each other. And also how to improve the whole body power. When you want to express power, how this is not just a single part of the body moving, but it's coming from all the body together and coming into a straight point, into a single point, let's say. Or then also it would be very useful for relaxation. Basic exercises to find this state that we want in Tai Chi. Many people call this song, this kind of relaxation, which is not too relaxed. I mean, you're not colliding, but you have to find a way to be relaxed and alert at the same time. And also exercises to help build your concentration, which is a must in Taijiquan. The mind has to be combined and together with the body. It cannot be separate. We cannot move this part and the mind thinking, oh, next week I'm going to be there. It's like not doing Tai Chi, not really helpful. So Fajin, Ishin Power, or some kind of breathing exercises and Qigong, all these different things can be put in simple much more simpler, basic exercises than the complete movement of the form, which is more complicated. It has all these things together. For now, I just saw one very simple basic exercise. Actually, it is based, and it begins from the mabu, from the horse stance that we say, which is has a small difference maybe than people practicing Taijiquan already practice and know. The slight difference is that now we don't keep the feet parallel and facing forward, but we open a little bit to the sides, outwards, the toes pointing outwards, and then we sink downwards. And when we sink downwards, of course, we have to keep the knees over the feet, not going inside or outside. It has to be over the knees, and put the coccyx in. And in this position, it's like we're feeling that we are wrapping something around here and down, and fixing the coccyx into place and keeping the pelvis right now steady, like the fascia of the body is starts to, we have to feel this kind of wrapping here. Okay, so, and then we just, this is a static exercise. We can stay here at first for little time, but later we can stay for longer periods of time. It doesn't matter how low or high is the stance. For the older, is okay to be higher, or maybe we can say it's about 45 degrees. The bending of the knees should be 45 degrees. So we stay in this position and relax. We keep the body aligned and straight, and breathe deeply and stay in this position. So this is the first part of the exercise I want to show it to you. And it has to do with the postural alignment. It has to do with strength and stability. And it has to do also with relaxation and concentration. And now I'm going to show the main part of the exercise that I wanted to show you today, which is the mobility of this certain area here, the hips area. So the exercise is like this. We can gently move the weight to our left leg, and at the same time, close the hip inwards. So we want now the 2 feet pointing at the same direction. And then we open the hip and move slightly the weight and turn the other leg, closing the hip. Now it is important that this movement, as you see, it is important that this movement is beginning, and we keep our mind now here in the hip area. It's not something to clear, make it more clear. It's not the knee going inwards and then the foot following or anything like this. It's not the foot going inwards and then the knee, but the hip, the knee, and the foot is like one block, always pointing at the same direction. So if I move like this, it should be together, moving and pointing at the same direction. You see, so now open, close, open, close, open, and then close. And then we can also bring the leg close, 2 legs together. And again, open and close. Open the leg, open, close, open, close, open. So you can do the exercise like this by feeling your hips, opening and closing. Okay, so later, maybe I can show how we can use this kind of exercise in the form. But I should say just one thing, that this exercise should be combined with other exercises in order to make it more effective. So there are supplementary exercises that make that improve the mobility of the hips or the flexibility of the hips. Okay, and then it is much easier for us, much better and easier for us to do this kind of exercise. Okay.
Thank you.
For now, welcome.
Thank you very much. We'll go into more details soon. But before, let me ask you, Nabil, how do you do it in Chen-Style?
Thanks for the question, Sonja. Of course, I'm completely unprepared. No, thanks to my dear colleagues. You answered already so many things. And it's funny, when I got this question, you sent it before, I thought it was one of these questions where, like 15 years ago, I might have had an easy answer, like, oh, there are 9 basic exercises or something. And nowadays, I don't know. I think in Chen-Style, basically, you could say there are no basic exercises. And because I think the basic exercise is like the ilu, the first road, what we call the first form, a long form of 89 movements. And this is like the basic exercise. But of course, there are so many like small methods, big methods, tools put into the form, which give the form its meanings and the movements their meaning. So in a way, you could also say there are innumerous exercises, basic exercises, you could kind of extract from the form. So in a way, we have both. There are no exercises and there are like 10,000. But of course, we kind of systematized some of the exercises to kind of enable the students to drill certain aspects of the art. So we would have aspects where we train like the bufa, like the stepping or the stances. We have what my colleagues already said, like janjuang exercises, standing exercises, or moving pillar exercises. So there's a lot of stuff like to build up stability, to create the right weight change, stepping techniques, kicking techniques, hitting techniques, if you like, and some basic movements. And I mean, we have only a very short time, so I just want to give you a quick look around some of the exercises, so you get a general feel. I don't think it's really something you can do at home, because 5 minutes is not enough to teach. But basically, we stand. We have in Chen-Style, we have like 2 basic rotations, and a lot of the movements in the form are like kind of built up from those. So we basically start with 1 rotation, and the rotation goes from outside, pushing down, to inside, to center line, where my zipper is today, to show you better. And then from here, we drill up, pong, ward off, and then we change again. Yeah, so this would be like 1 basic rotation. Now, there's a lot of material in this already, and I think it's a bit what Martin says. The more you add like contents into 1 movement, of course, the movement at some point, it's not really so basic anymore, but it becomes more advanced. So the naming is sometimes a bit difficult, but from here, first of all, we would learn how to correctly change weight. Because what we don't have is like a linear change of weight, yeah, like this. This in our style would be a very basic thing, but we quite right from the start, we want to change our the way we change weight in a round fashion, you know, like the yin yang symbol. So from here, we're like creating opening and closing in the qua, in the hips, and then we change to the other side, and the other side closes, and this side opens. And there's a lot one could say about this already, but this is like the basic rotation. And then we are coordinating the whole body more to create like the Taiji forces, like the Anjin, the pressing down force, or like a Tuijin, like pushing force, or like a Chuanjin, like a drilling up. And then, for example, we have the Pengjin going out, warding off. So there are a lot of like forces already inside. And of course, we have the reverse kind of moving hands. This is just like the reverse pattern. And you can, of course, do them single-handedly or with one hand. And you have to work on like the structural alignment in the form. Yeah? And then, of course, we can do the same movement with drilling fists. Yeah, it's a very similar movement where you can see what we call in Chen-Style the silk reeling, the spiraling power, which kind of goes through the whole body to coordinate the whole movement. Yeah, so this would be also one basic exercise. And then there's a lot, I don't know if I still have the time, but of course we have, for example, we have hitting exercises. Yeah, so where you step and you punch. And this is also there to create like explosive power, you know, like you're stepping and the punch connects. So there's a lot of stuff, and I just wanted to show you a bit of variety, yeah, to give you a feel of what we do.
Thank you. Very interesting. Now I want to know where can you find these exercises in your Soloform or in your pushing hands? Dimitris, could you show and explain to us in a short way?
Yes. Okay, of course, I can explain. And so if you remember the exercise that I showed before, it was the closing and opening of the hips. So this kind of use of the opening and closing of the hip area in the Wu-Style, we use it very, very much in many different movements. And but there is one movement that I'm going to show you for the short time that we have. That is, you can see very clearly what we already exercised before. So this movement is the cloud hands. It is called the cloud hands. And if we put what we did before in a manner to move the whole body, so you see the opening. You can pay attention to the opening and closing of the hips, like we did before, the same thing we did before. So this way we make the cloud hands and we move sideways. Maybe we can change direction. Okay, we move like this. And then if you remember the horse stance that we begin to work before, I'm going to finish this short exercise in the single whip of the Wu-Style. So this actually also can be exercised as a very basic Zhanzhuang, static exercise. Okay, and then I close. Okay, so this was a short demonstration of how we can use this exercise. Of course, in Wu-Style, if we get used to this movement and we're able to open and close very well the hips, and coordinate the hip with the knee and the toes, then we can use this as a way to direct the power where we want. So we can begin from this way. It's the same, not different. But when I bring the weight to my front leg, I can use this kind of usage of the pelvis, of the hips, combined with the other parts of the body, of course. So then I can direct the force forward, and I can make it more strong and efficient, like this. So this is it, not much more to say, but a very important thing that also Martin said, and Nabil said also, is that how deep you go with a basic exercise, it depends on how long you keep doing it. So sometimes when you revisit a basic exercise after some time that you practice the form or pushing hands or anything, you can then realize that there's more depth in this basic exercise. And then this is a process that never ends. You can go deeper and deeper and deeper. So in this this time, we spoke mostly about moving the body here, but we can use the same exercises or with slight changes with doing more inner work. So, okay, that's it.
Thank you. How is it in your style, Nabil? Can you show us practical applications?
Of course. I mean, it's a bit like I showed the two basic rotations in Chen-Style. So basically we find those or variations of those all throughout the form. So in the beginning, for example, we start the form like this, and then the right hand, of course, has this drilling up power, and the left hand has its turning power, and it's doing like this, the other rotation. So basically you're putting the rotations together in kind of a different way. Now, all the other methods inside basic exercises or the form, of course, also apply. For example, how you use your qua, yeah, the closing quality, how you use a certain punction power in your legs, how to root to your feet, then how to connect your hip power or your qua, difficult to translate, with your what we call the waist power or dantian power, yeah, without turning the knees and compromising your root. But we want to keep the root stable, so the middle part and the upper part can be moving, while the lower part is like a mountain. So basically, you have all these powers, these sparring powers, traveling throughout or inside your body and being connected with your mind intent, with your breathing, and with your center power. And you find all those movements in the exercises, you know, also the circling and the spiraling. So basically you find them everywhere. Now, the other movements, for example, the second or the third one, the punch comes from our cannon fist form. And there also we start like this. And then from here, we jump out and then jump and punch. Yeah, I don't know if it's a bit too loud for the mic. I don't know. Sorry about this. But yeah, this is like for this movement we did. So you can, but basically in our style, you can fargen or send out power in every movement you do. So, for example, Chen-Style also has like stomping and jumping and stuff, but also the stomping and jumping, it's not just you jump, but also you use the spiraling power, also in the hands, but also in the legs. And you can feel it if you have a teacher who put in some training. Yeah, it's very easy to feel the spiraling going through the body and keeping the body stable. And then, of course, you could also have movements like this, which come in the form, but you could also do as a basic exercise where you jump, you know, and then from here, you jump and jump again. Sorry for being loud. I'm the noisy guy here, but that's where you find the movements are showed.
Thank you. Thank you. It's very nice to see it. Martin, how does it look like in the Mathe-Sequenz system? Can you show us?
Yeah, I try. But first I have to say to the people, you can scale up your volume again. Now Chen-Style is gone. Now we go on with Mathe-Sequenz style, and I try to show or explain something in the relationship between the second Sao I show and explain a little before, and a passage from our slow short form, the 13th form. In order that the Tai Chi form, Soloform, is not just movement, not just simple single movement, it is work. Work in the sense of martial art. I do something. And what I do is I imagine an opponent, for instance, and in this encounter, I try to move accordingly a situation. In my past of practice, years ago, and sometimes still I do this same mistake, and I know from other people, and when I see them practicing, the inner story of the form tells, let's say, a story of success. Every step is a step from one little victory to the next. And this doesn't correspond to the reality. It prevents learning, and it follows the controlling desire to have something to hold on to. Moreover, the person who controls quickly becomes the controlled person, so the controlled one. So that's why I have to practice to release in the form. I have to practice to find the yang quality and to release from yang into yin, as I explained before in the second Sao. I will explain it a little bit with a little movement from the short form. For instance, at the end of the form, there's a movement I push. I show first. So, what happens in this movement? What can I imagine? I imagine I push someone. So now my push maybe is neutralized by the opponent. So the direction of the force changes. So I have to change from yang an to pong jin. So, and maybe the opponent tried to control my arm above the elbow to lock me, for instance. If I don't change from yang to yin, if I go on with the push, I overstretch my arm and get locked and get controlled in this way. So I have to change from yang and release, yin, pong. Now the incoming force, I give my arm and the incoming force stretches my back. So it's very nice for me. And the result is that the incoming force from the opponent gets a new direction out of the line. And if the incoming force is out of my structure, it changes from yang to lu, from pong to lu. And maybe now I control with a lock, or I use a lock. If the other person releases too, I have to release from my locking movement, and maybe I follow with G. If the partner neutralizes G, I have to release immediately into pong, because G is very focused, and that's why very easy to control force. So means from yang, I have to release to yin. Increases the pong, release, control or lock, release. So there's no control, injection, G, jin, release, pong, jin, and so on. So, and this quality of releasing from one to the other one is, for me, also the central challenge in the practice of Taijiquan. So, and then I try to practice these skills in Tuisho, and if they are not naturally available for me, I take the idea back, return to the basic exercise. For instance, a Taiji Cao, this one, I try to release, I can release. So, or I return with this idea to the form, and then I go back into the free flow of Tuisho. So there is interaction between all these exercises. So, and that's the way I try to practice and I try to teach and try to learn. Okay, so that's it.
Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you all for giving us an insight into your practice systems. And thank you for all for watching us. Our next show will be on August the 16th at 7 p.m. Central European Time. Our topic is Taijiquan and the concept of relaxation. In Chinese, Song. You are welcome to join us. Our experts next time are Birte Timson, Laura Stone, and Hella Ebel. Please subscribe to our channel and spread word. See you soon and stay grounded. Thank you very much.